Hello, welcome to the Cube studios here in Palo Alto, California. I'm John Furrier, your host of the Cube. We got breaking news here and some really good launch announcement from Riverbed. Dave Donatelli is the CEO of Riverbed. We're going to talk about the power of the Riverbed platform. A lot of the tools are in their third generation, but a platform is emerging. Big announcement this week. Dave, thanks for coming into the Cube to break down the big news. A lot of meat on the bone, as we say. Thanks for coming in.
John, great to be with you again. And yeah, there's a lot going on right now. We're really excited.
So take us through, from an industry perspective, where you see. I want to get into the news in a bit, but because there's a lot there. You got new technologies, new products and capabilities, so a lot to dig into. But what does the current industry landscape look like from your perspective?
Well, I think if you look at it from a customer point of view, they're all looking at really three things. One, virtually every customer I talk to wants to do some form of tool consolidation, because if you look at observability, people literally have dozens of tools, so it's inefficient for them, costs them a lot of money, so they're consolidating. Two, as you know, with AI, everybody likes to talk about it, but what they really want is AI that works with an ROI. That's really big. And the third thing is what I call corporate data, is they want to take all the data that we collect and use it somewhere else in their company. I like to joke that, you know, they had a segment on CNBC about corporate data. If it's hit CNBC at this point, you know it's hit the mainstream and it's an important topic.
I mean, enterprise tech has gone from, you know, an industry we all know and love, but now because of AI and the role of data, AI has gone mainstream. NVIDIA stock replaces Intel in terms of on the big board there. And so you got a lot of mainstreaming of AI, which, you know, we're almost 3 years into ChatGPT. The world kind of now gets it. But now as things progress, you start to see everyone go, okay, I get it now. Work from home, that's enterprise. If you start an AI company now, if you're an entrepreneur, it's basically born in the cloud, so you're instantly enterprise enabled by default. So there's a lot of things. It's not as easy just as building a SaaS app and throwing it to the app store. There's a lot going on. And so as the enterprises emerge for their version of AI, which again is the hottest area, you saw NVIDIA talk in detail about the enterprise AI stack, how IT's not ready. And so there is a flipping of the script. And a year ago, you and I talked about the platform that you were building with Riverbed. Take us through what's changed there, because you got AI now hot, and saying you predicted here in the Cube you'd have some AI for us. I know we got some here, but get into the elements of the platform now that you guys are launching, because we talked a year ago.
Sure. So it's been a very busy year. We're really proud of our engineers and everything they shipped. If you look at the platform itself, I'll just take you through it by layer. The base layer is kind of historically where people have collected data. So network performance monitoring, application data, data on your endpoints, your laptop there, your PCs, your phones. And that was kind of where the market was. What Riverbed did and what we just discussed a year ago was we built something called the Riverbed Data Store. And what that data store could do is collect all that data, by the way, including non-Riverbed data. So we're an open platform, third-party data, up into the Riverbed data store. And we can do that at great scale, which of course is really required for AI and all these other things. And then on top of that, we built another platform called IQ, another product called IQ. IQ is in its third generation. That's where our algorithms live. And what those algorithms do is we apply all the various AI algorithms to that data in the data store. And customers are seeing phenomenal results with that.
I want to get into the platform because, you know, as you know, we've been saying on the Cube and the CubePod platforms are here, and it's platform of platforms. Customers are kind of looking at their tools right now. They're reassessing from a skills standpoint. Certainly AI is going to be writing code and also filling in all the gaps. We're going to get into some of the things you guys have. But I want to talk about the platform slide. So if the team could bring up the first slide there, you can see what you just talked about. And I like the graph. So people love to take pictures at events about platform slides, and because you can see all the moving parts. So you got the collection piece at the bottom, which you showed there. But I like how you guys are positioning that Riverbed IQ suite. I call it a suite, but maybe that's a bad word. That seems where all the value is going to be holding there from an interface standpoint. And that's kind of like where the things are happening, all the cool new capabilities.
Absolutely.
Kind of like Amazon had Bedrock to kind of simplify how people were going to use AI in their tools, and that's growing super fast.
Yes.
Explain that piece of it, and I want you to also explain the smart OTel piece on the side of the slide there, because I think those two things working together seem to be, to me, magical.
Yeah, so I think the first thing, it's important in the world of AI hype to explain all this is shipping now. People are using this all today, right? So this is all real. This is not the future. This is today. And so the Riverbed Data Store is patented by us, designed by us from the ground up, and it pulls all from that first layer you see on the chart. So what Riverbed historically has been able to do really well is collect tons of data in real time, real data, not synthetic, real data in real time at scale. The data store then, again, pulls that up when necessary. And as you said, the IQ engine is where we apply all the algorithms to it. So we can do, what we call automations and remediations. We can do agentic AI. We can do predictive AI. We can do generative AI, all using IQ. And then the next question you said, okay, now what about Smart OTel? How does that play in? Well, what we see is, and as I mentioned earlier, data's gone mainstream, right? Companies need data either for security reasons, they need it for their own AI projects, or whatever kind of data project they want to do. Mm-hmm. And we have the data. We're the ones who collect it. That whole first layer is data collection that I mentioned. Yeah. The store is how you get it into scale, but they don't just want a raw data stream. This is the reason why we call it Smart OTel, is that same IQ layer that's on the chart there. Customers can program it to deliver only the data they care about. And then we use the OpenTelemetry protocol to ship it wherever they want. So they have their own data stores, elsewhere in their company. We can ship it to millions of them. We can even take data that isn't ours, convert it into our data store, ship it out via Smart OTel wherever they want.
As Dave Vellante says, slice the salami any way you want. So to me, the Smart OTel, what I just heard you say is that you have the data store that you're collecting all that data kind of in a unified spot. The Smart OTel allows the customers, the companies, to get only what they need so they can actually program and get specific data. They don't have to go in and do anything. Correct. Or get a data dump, or in some cases they don't even have access to that data. Explain that piece, because I think that's where the efficiency is coming in, and what does that mean for the customer? Faster, speed, more efficiency, what does that, explain that piece. I think that is a key component. They get what they want, but what does it mean for them?
Okay, so what it really means is a term a lot of our customers now use is called free the data. So think about it historically, right? We've both been doing this a long time. Data is trapped in all kinds of different silos and companies. We all know that. Now in the world of AI, data is our currency. People need it. First, they need to be able to get access to it. Second of all, though, the reason the Smart OTel is important is they don't want to be flooded by it. We hear about false alerts, too much stuff, makes no sense. So again, what the IQ does, and the beauty of the IQ algorithms, is they can just precisely get exactly what they're looking for. So instead of just getting a flood of raw data, we're going to give them more precise data, and as you said, slice it any way you want in order for whatever the project is within your company.
Yeah, and I think that's going to play well, certainly in the generative AI process, and as people need to use AI, having data, real data, not synthetic data, is going to add a lot of value. I'm just curious.
Huge for accuracy, as you know. Right, real data leads to real accuracy, and we've all seen the problems with synthetic data and the hallucinations that come from it. But having real data that's, again, captured in real time is what gives you accurate AI.
Yeah, that's a good competitive advantage for you guys. So congratulations. That's a great strategy. Good leverage there with the collection, having that data. Let's get into the news. So I want to get into some of the cool things. There's a lot to go on over here. If you pull up the second slide on this one, I want to just show this because it shows the three areas of news that you guys have. Again, we came back a year ago, you talked about the collection and the unified store there. Technologies, generative AI, agentic AI, predictive, unified agent, and open telemetry with the Smart OTel. Those are technologies that creates products. Intel, Thunderbolt, and Wi-Fi, unified communication network packets, cloud microservices, and then obviously the benefits of the new capabilities, Riverbed, IQ Assist, AIOps, predictive AI, Smart OTel, multi-session VDI, and among other things. So this is
pretty good list for our last
It's the classic product management slide where you see value, technologies enable products create capabilities, and then outcomes come up from that. Take us through this piece, and you mentioned the Gen AI. Take us through some of the new technologies. What specifically is the key pieces here? Gen AI, go start with that one first.
Yeah, so let me just baseline you in one important way. Our current AI out there, we talk about automations and remediations. We have done more than 64 million real-world automated events for customers. We have 39 customers already, and this list grows every month, of people doing more than 10,000 remediations every month. And they go up to 1 million in some of those customers, okay? So we've done a lot of this. So now you say, okay, now what have we added to it in this announcement? One is generative AI. So generative AI, I think a neat use case customers like is, the example I gave is you're out at lunch, your phone comes up and it's like, oh boy, I got a problem. And we literally have, using generative AI, 3 rings on that phone. Network, application, endpoint. If the endpoint ring is red, you got a problem at the endpoint, Our generative will tell you what the problem is and suggest an automated solution to fix, which again, customers want control. They can pick whether to send the fix or not. They can send it right from their phone, fix the situation, they'll come back to
So I'm at
remake.
lunch, I don't have to move from lunch.
You don't have to do anything.
So it's
right
kind of
through
like
your phone.
ChatGPT says, you like the new version? Yeah, make the changes.
Correct.
So is that the kind of way?
Same idea, but for enterprise.
All right, cool. So that's Gen AI. You get all that data too, which again, I love that advantage. I think it's a huge deal. Folks watching, there's a webinar you could probably go to it. The link will be somewhere out there on their site, but I know there's some details on that. The agentic AI, that's the hot thing.
Yep.
I know we've talked in the past about kind of how the sequence of events in that market, it's a little bit hyped up, but there are low-hanging fruit use cases
Absolutely.
in agentic. Can you share what you're excited about with agentic in this news?
Yeah, so as you know, agentic are basically agents talking to agents to do things. And so what we've done is we've built a library of agents. And then again, customers can want control, right? They don't want just your agents going off and changing their whole IT environment. So because of that, we made it really simple for them to pick amongst these agents to deal with specific use cases. So there's a lot of common problems that happen. I've got a cache overflow running Microsoft Teams. Great, agents can identify that and fix that automatically. We add that to one of those use cases. So when I talk about 10,000 remediations a month, that's the kind of stuff that happens because these are problems that occur all the time. It gets humans out, lets the machines fix it. And again, it's all based off that IQ, third generation IQ we talked about.
So agents are real.
Absolutely.
And they're shipping today.
Yes.
All right, again, that
First use case.
if you watch NVIDIA, you see the future. Obviously, there's going to be millions of agents. Again, the underlying infrastructure has to have the data. Again, back to the data piece there.
Yep.
The Intel Thunderbolt piece, I want to get to that because this speaks to the unified agent piece and some of the new capabilities that I like the most. Unified agent is part of the technologies, and then you have an Intel component, which I think is a game changer. I don't think anyone else has that.
No one else has it.
So could you talk about the unified agent first, traction there, what's it do? And then let's get into the Intel, because I think that's huge.
Sure. So the unified agent, back to tool consolidation we spoke about. People hate agents, we all know that. So we came up with a single agent that then has
By the way,
plugin.
not the agents as an agentic agents, but people
No.
like.
Yeah,
These are the
sorry.
software agents that clog the networks up.
Correct. Correct. Good correction. Thank you. I don't want to confuse people.
They're double agents. No, but I mean, this is the semantics. So this is important we get this right. So software agents, the ones we've talked about in the past that people hate because it slows things down, the boot up speeds.
And they have to talk to people to get them on their systems, and they have dozens of them, all those things.
So the good agents are the agentic ones that are doing all the value. These agents kind of, if not reined in.
If not reined in, they cause problems. So we've reined them in by having a common agent, so single agent, that you plug various modules into. Last year, we announced 3 modules for them. One was really exciting called NPM Plus. NPM Plus is an agent. If you think about zero trust networks, traditional network performance tools don't work anymore because they can't see it. NPM Plus solves that problem. We're the only people who have it. So now we just announced 3 more agents. And the one you brought up was Intel, which I think is very, very interesting. So as most people know, Intel is still 70% of your business IT environment, right? So it's still the vast majority. Up until this point, Intel had not released kind of the inner diagnostics for Thunderbolt and for Wi-Fi. Okay, so for things you attach to your PCs or obviously Wi-Fi connections, no connection. We've had a great relationship with Intel. They run their business on our products. They use our products, great engineering relationship. They've opened those interfaces up to us. We did joint development together. So now our products can see all the way through, help, again, identify problems, diagnose, resolve, all the way through. And that's a module that will go into our unified agent.
And this is a unique thing that Intel does with you guys only. No one else has this.
Correct.
And because Intel, it takes too much engineering, or it's not like an API or a program. It's not like, hey, Intel has a developer program.
Exactly. There's no common API that anybody can go use. It was really just...
So the engineering's involved.
A lot of engineering on their side, engineering on our side to go make this possible.
And what's the benefits what edge does that give you guys in terms of a customer?
Well, again, what customers want is, they want clear diagnosis of what is wrong, and they want a fast time to fix. And that gives us an advantage in both of those. Because if not, you're more shooting in the dark trying to figure out what the problem is.
I mean, that's and that's getting down to the theme in all this AI is the best engineering gets down to the lowest levels possible. We're
Correct.
starting to see either performance gains or unique advantages. I mean, that's what we're seeing all in the semiconductors and networking. It's funny, not to digress, but networking seems to be getting their act together, kind of never really lost its act, but it's much more solidifying other parts of the new stacks that are emerging. As you have access to the network, the value of the network is becoming even more important.
More important.
I mean, what's your reaction to that, just more generally?
Well,
Do you agree?
Well, I think two things. I think first of all, networks are getting redesigned because of this, right? Even the I always love the fact when it really goes mainstream. The Wall Street Journal had a whole article. I don't know if you saw it, talking about how networks have to get smarter and reorganized for AI.
Yeah.
And our products play a part in that as well. So we're right in the middle of that, and so I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's funny. All the GPU stuff too is basically one big networking fabric now. All right, I want to get into the somehow the other solutions. What other things do you guys launching in the news this week?
Well, we just talked about really the main ones. All the AI stuff is very important. That's next generation. The smart OTel we discussed, very, very important. The new agents, I mentioned NPM Plus, and this gets to some of your network stuff. So I just talked about how the fact that, in a zero trust world or in a cloud world, you couldn't see what was traveling on your network. And we fixed that problem with NPM Plus. The way you want to think about it is NPM products traditionally have been boxes attached to networks, classic appliance.
Yep.
We've now moved that to the endpoint, like your laptop. So then what people wanted on top of that was, okay, now give me packets. I need to understand packets and flows. We added that to the product with this announcement, so that was big. The next big module that we announced is all around unified communications.
Yeah.
Okay, we all spend our time doing videos from wherever. And every person I talk to, every CIO is
Everyone knows that is always going to crash. I got to go off video to get better quality.
Always. Every CIO's got the story that the CEO is having some meeting and it crashes and people get really upset, right? Because the CEO calls them, just like I do. If we have a problem, I'll call our CIO and say, what's going on? So we have a module for that now. And what's really interesting about that is everything else to date has been reactive. Problem happens.
Yeah.
So everybody else will tell you what happened and you try and go fix it. We can monitor in real time, which is, understand things as they're happening to fix them. But more importantly, we can do predictive. So running within parameters, we can understand, is this video about ready to, have a problem, and then fix it proactively and adjust proactively.
Talk about Riverbed IQ Assist, because there's also some support around that as well. Predictive, reactive, real time. These are areas you guys have spent a lot of time in.
Yep.
Where's that piece going? Because if you go back to the blocking and tackling of Riverbed, those were some of the core areas. How does the AI affect some of those areas?
Yeah, so IQ Assist, the big thing about it is, again, we are producing literally hundreds of various use cases and then giving customers the ability with that, which is basically generative AI use cases, giving them the ability to mix and match how much do they want to automate, how much do they don't want to automate. I was with a customer recently, they're now at 70% automation. So their view is in their environment, they can fix 70% of the issues through automation. And I was like, okay, how much of that is Riverbed? And that's over 60% of it.
Really?
Yeah.
So you mentioned on the webinar the ROI piece around the reality of how AI is real. You had mentioned beginning of this interview, it's shipping, which is against conventional wisdom of AI these days, is you hype it up. You're hyping it up after the fact you've shipped it, but that's good. That's stable, right? So where's the ROI when the clients are putting it into practice? What are the use cases? What are some of the value points that they're seeing from either dollars and cents or value extraction?
Sure. So we do have AI ROI tools. So we go work with customers because we want them to see the real value they're getting. But I'll give you an example. Like a large bank has eliminated 75,000 calls to their help desk per month. That's per month, just by using our tools. Okay, with that, they've reduced their mean time to repair, and again, these are their numbers, by 25%. Okay, so time to fix issues down, the amount of issues a human has to work on way down. If the product that we were just talking about around unified communications, people, everybody's on video, people need help.
Yeah.
We baited that with a big healthcare company. They had 10,000 endpoints, and same idea of, their view is each call they get on any of these circumstances is 20 minutes of time minimum to fix.
And that's coming from the unified agent.
Yeah, and so we're reducing that 20-minute time and taking it away because now we can fix things proactively that they don't have to touch.
Yeah, and there's also the hassle factors. I was actually just on a meeting where they try to do a demo with sound, but I won't say the client of the software client, but it has software to minimize background noise. So they wouldn't play the sound.
Yeah.
You got to go to the settings. It's like, so there's so much stuff that's been engineered into the software, to your point about these agents that aren't unified, cause problems, either congestion or contention of resource. Huge issue. I mean, is that where the unified agent's seeing the value? Is things like that video capabilities? Is that coming from the unified agent? Is that a different product, or is that what specifically is that coming from?
So these are all coming specifically from the modules in the agent.
Okay, got it.
So the way you want to think about modules are mix and match as you please. So as I mentioned, we talked about unified communications. If that's a problem for you, which is pretty much a problem for everybody, I'm putting that one in my unified agent. The NPM Plus I spoke about is, hey, if you've got cloud or you've got a zero trust network, you need it because it's the only way you're going to be able to understand the performance metrics of your network. You'll put that in the unified agent. The great news for the customer, though, it's only one agent.
Yeah.
And so they love that part. The ROI you mentioned about really comes from the automations and remediations we see from AI. And we do everything from machine learning, as we talked about, all the way through agentic.
It's interesting. Well, I got you here on the unified communications. It's one of my pet peeves. Unified, it's been around for a while. I mean, longer than the cube. So unified communications used to be voice over IP, way back in the day.
Sure.
But now, digital is now fully a first-party capability. What are the key things about unified communications today that's so important for your platform that clients are shifting to? Because this is the IT shift we're seeing. What is it about unified communications that's different now? And what are customers, how are they framing it? Because these are all symptoms of old things, like the software is bloated, or they have too many agents on the system. So you're helping them fix that. Are they shifting their unified communications thinking, or any?
Well, again, that's a broad topic, right? So a lot of stuff you still see is kind of old school, particularly in the big enterprises. But again, the acute issue that everybody talks about, as I mentioned, is video. Video. It's mission critical, as we know. It's become mission critical, but it didn't have kind of all the things that a typical enterprise would wrap around to ensure availability, serviceability, all the abilities. And that's what we hear a ton from our customers.
So I know you got an acceleration launch coming up there.
Yes.
What's that? What's going on there? What's the feeling?
Acceleration gets back to some of the things you're talking about, networking, right? Networking in AI specifically. So the acceleration business, had been going down as people changed networks.
Just explain acceleration business for people who don't know specifically what it is.
So our acceleration business is how the company started 23 years ago. And virtually every large organization in the world has Riverbed acceleration in it. And what it does is speeds the performance of applications over networks.
That's what everyone wants.
Right? That's what everybody wants. And so originally when things started, people started moving to SD-WAN and other things, the network pipes got fatter. Acceleration demand was going down. Now with AI, it's going up again. It's so funny.
What's the driver for that?
It's the same. What's interesting? These concepts are all the same, which is ever since I've been in the industry, fat pipes, how much data. Sometimes the pipes win, sometimes the data wins, right? Meaning
so it's the data. It's basically
all
data
data
gravity.
and data movement.
Yeah.
And so what people are seeing is now they have to move so much data that they need new solutions. So we're doing our biggest, from a technology perspective, our biggest launch in 7 years. All new products across the board.
Yeah.
All really wrapping around helping people with AI in this space. The other thing what we also see is regardless of how fast your network is, most people are running traditional apps, and the traditional apps can't take advantage of the speed. So guess what they need in order to run well? Acceleration.
Well, they're lucky to have you there at the helm. I mean, you've seen all the different ways. I like how you weaved in kind of that historical perspective, because if you think about it, this interconnect concept is now down to the chip level. Multiple GPUs act as one, multiple systems act as one cluster.
Sure.
The pipes are getting fatter, the data's getting bigger, so it doesn't matter how fat the pipes get, that comes back. What else is happening? Because this is like a huge deal. I mean, because remote campuses are just an interconnect, right? I mean, just networks. In 20 years, you've been in this. As you're sitting at the helm of Riverbed.
A little more than 20, but yeah.
I mean, 20 plus.
Yeah, I just kidding.
You know, you look younger than me. I'm a little bit, no. But seriously, no, as you sit at the helm of Riverbed, what are you looking at as a future? What's the 20-mile stare? As all these trends become your friend, what are you most excited about? Obviously, the launch is here. You got more products and capabilities. What are some of the things that you're looking at that you're super excited about?
Yeah, I would say this. I'm having a blast, and everybody who works at Riverbed, you know, on all these technologies is having fun as well, because it is the perspective of having seen so much over the years in the industry, and you know, we believe we're bringing something very unique to the party here to solve the problems our customers have, and that's what I'm so excited about. The platform allows us to move unbelievably fast. Yeah. Because once, and this is what frankly attracted me to go to Riverbed when I saw it. Once I saw like, okay, we can have a consistent data model. Once you get that right, and people say, oh, data models from data model. That's really hard. I've been doing this a long time. I've been across all the big IT companies. It's really difficult to do. And once you get that, and we have that, then if you want to do agentic or you want to do generative, or whatever type of AI you want, that gets fast and easy. So we are moving, and hopefully you saw that. You saw what we announced last year. You just saw what we announced this year. We are moving so fast. And that's what excites me, because we're solving our customers' biggest problems. Our customers have too many tools. Mm-hmm. They have what we call blind spots. They don't see all of their environment because new things are in their environment all the time. Mobile phones, work from anywhere. You know, the problem keeps getting harder for customers. Mm. And so since we can see more than anybody, we can collect data at scale better than anybody and more effectively than anybody, and we can apply that to a model. It's fun every day because we're helping them solve their big problems.
It's clear from a product standpoint, you have product-led executive CEO. You got the product platform, love the Riverbed IQ. I think that sits in a nice spot the way it's packaged, and the components are all solid. That you saw that a mile away before you even came to Riverbed. But last time we talked, you were kind of excited about the AI, but you were in building out all this new stuff, and you had some AI. That changes the game. Share your perspective on how AI truly changes the enterprise, because the enterprise systems sometimes have been manual hooks and brittle. It's not, I mean, you can't just tear it down, and you can't poke at it, but you can abstract away if you get the data. Talk about why, in your opinion, AI is so powerful for IT transformation, business transformation. If you had to look back and look down on the industry, be like, hey, you know, this is a dream scenario, or is it? What's your view on how AI changes or moves the needle?
All right, I'll give you I'll start with a little history, then I'll go forward. The history is this. The thing that made kind of the commercial internet work for enterprises was Netscape. Why is that? Because it's the first time people could see the possibilities of, oh my gosh, look at all these things I can do. And then from that was birthed all these great companies that we talk about today. Okay, ChatGPT was that for AI. We've been working on AI since long before that. Machine learning I've been working on for years. Chat bots have been working on for years. It's all been around. But when that came out, regular business people, not technologists, for the first time could see the possibilities of that. And that's what's unleashed the investment. And that's what's gotten CEOs and boards and everybody else into it to fund it and say, I want to transform my business. And you know, we're at the stage now, I'm proud of what we do because it's real and it works. It's not hype. And we are helping people solve business problems, and we're saving them, you know, 5 to 1, 7 to 1 in the process. Real numbers, and we can take you through the companies that do that. And I think that's the good phase. There's still a lot more that has to get done for the enterprise. And there's still a lot of hype that's got to kind of wash out of the cycle. But I'm very convinced it's very real, and meaning for the broader enterprise. And I'm very convinced it's going to make enterprises more efficient. Now, it's not a miracle though. And I think that's the lesson of history, right? People are still running mainframes for a reason. So, you know, as much as I love the folks who everything's going to be changed and the world's going to, you know, it's not that. What technology has proven time and time again is new technologies are additive, but they necessarily do not wipe out the past. That's why we still have mainframes. That's why people still have legacy applications. But they do make us more effective, more efficient, and give companies a competitive edge or governments a competitive edge who take advantage. And I think AI is certainly going to be one of those.
Dave, great to have you on Unpacking the News. Congratulations. Final minute we have left. Give some stats on Riverbed, install base. You guys got a great network of customers. Give a quick stats on some of the numbers.
Yeah, so numbers, I mean, if you look across the company, huge percentage of the Fortune 500 are customers as well as large governments around the world. We're growing, we're privately held, we're growing very rapidly thanks to our customers, so we're very appreciative of that. And what is driving the growth is what we talked about today, is people want to move away from the point products and they want to get to a platform. And fortunately for our space, I mean, it's a big IT world out there, but for what we do in the IT world, we're the only platform available.
And you got the Intel, that's a unique feature too. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on theCUBE. I'm John Furrier here inside theCUBE, breaking down the power of the Riverbed platform, huge install base, clearly in the center of the IT innovation with AI, and Dave Donatelli, the CEO, is breaking it down. Thanks for watching.